Yes, indeed. Showtime. We're back again with Borders. It's me, your host, Ace, the trouble man himself. And I'm joined here by...
Dan, the less troublesome.
the less troublesome Dan.
Mushiri.
Hivyo
tu. Nasikia niko na kitchen hapa hivi, although imenishtua.
Mushiri's butchery. Mushiri akona butchery. Anyway, much to discuss today on episode 3. Tuanzie wapi? First things first, Nairobi, it's raining. Kunanyesha, the weather, I hope Baku kutakuwa hivyo by the we're long overdue that wet race. That first wet race of the season. Yeah.
Hizo maombi ziliombea huko ziende huko.
Ishaifanyika Baku.
Ngoja, nyinyi ni watu wa Red Bull, si ndio? Hapana, watu wa Red Bull ndio wapendangi stories za wet race.
It's okay. One race out of two races out of 23 won't change the results at the end of the season.
Mko sure?
Yeah.
Unajua there are still a lot of races to go na as things stand currently, the cast is still on.
Which one? Please remind us.
The cast of opening the first race of the season, winning the first race of the season.
As I said,
the cast is still on. Sisi, we are still hopeful, man. You know, Checky, listen. All a man has is his hope. We are still hopeful, you know?
Well, allow me to remind you of another trend in Livunjika. There's this trend here. Every 101, the 101st podium, right? Translates to a win. Alonso didn't win the Australian GP, and that was his 101st.
Actually, me, I have a point about it will probably make you happy. Is 20 last year was 2022?
Yeah, 2022.
After 3 races, Charles was it P1, P2,
P1 again.
Is it?
Yeah,
no.
1-2-1.
Max won the second race.
So ndio nasema P1 1-2-1. Last year was 1-2, then 1 again.
For Charles. Max didn't win the second race.
Si pia ya Max imekuwa 1-2-1. Max's season imekuwa 1-2-1.
Yes, imekuwa 1-2-1.
Yeah.
Previous before Hamilton.
1-2-1 bado.
It was 1-2-1.
And they didn't win the nini.
And all of them lost.
See, this is what I'm talking about. The cast is still on.
But as far as cases go, they apply, as I said, if you believe in them, if you listen to them, because
I see story na believing.
No, look, Formula 1 may exist for many years, and those cases, and you just pick like a 5% of the whole nini.
We're cherry picking cases.
Yes, you only pick what it apply. It'll make you happy.
Listen, tunaambiwango you everybody has a narrative. Me, I'm talking in a degree to suit my narrative. Unajua sometimes tunaweza kuwa tukiongea lakini watu wanafikiria niko serious, but me I'm just suiting my narrative as a tifosi, and I fully expect Max Verstappen to fumble the season. I fully expect it. So
actually there's this thing whereby when you're a new driver and you don't have a competitive car, go hot-headed, crashing nini. It happened to Hamilton and nini. But when you have a championship winning car, you don't have to fight. You can let them go. You will come later and overtake them. So
tutaona
Max akona come head. No need to fight anybody. The only person who at least should be fighting ni Checo. But I know how to take care of that.
Okay, much to talk about. Tumekuwa away for a minute. Najua there's an overview. There's an overdue review. Yeah. There's an overdue review. Yeah, Melbourne.
Yes.
Let's get that out of the way. Kwanza na hiyo tuiondoe kwa meza, because
as a Ferrari fan, Carlos Sainz, was it fair?
Umeona tuanze na Sainz, because you know the wounds are still fresh.
Tuanze na Charles basi.
It's been 4 weeks. It's been four long weeks, but the wounds, they're still fresh. I mean, even my heartbreak didn't haiku stab as deep as this one. Hey, did you hear the audio? ulisikia audio yake when alikuwa anaongea na his engineers.
Actually, when I listened to the audio, I think it convinced
he's basking in my pain, by the way. Unasikia ki basking in my pain.
This is what I think. He deserved the penalty, but he did not deserve to serve it the way it was served. It's like a judge can say you are guilty, yes, but how do you serve it? That is not what that is.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. The penalty in which Carlos was supposed to serve, was a penalty that occurred in a race that didn't occur, in a lap that didn't occur. That's the argument. That's the argument we're going by. Sikumbuki ilikuwa lap gani specifically, but the race had just restarted again.
57.
Yeah, not really sure. But according to the rules of FIA, for a lap to stand, lazima ikwe completed a third of it, 33% of the lap. For it to count, or the first sector.
First sector.
The first sector. Na walikuwa wamemake only 2 turns. It was only 1 turn, the second one waka crash. Na yes, Carlos did do something, ama was involved in something that costed another driver. But if that other driver wasn't inconvenienced, why should Carlos serve the penalty?
Fair. That's a fair argument.
No, it is not fair, because
not fair.
You should judge the action which he was penalized for.
And what action was that?
What did he do? It's something to do with Alonso. He collided with Alonso.
Alikuwa na late braking yenye he didn't maintain his racing line, yenye ili inconvenience another driver, waka Alonso end up touching.
Sainz and Alonso touched.
I don't think Sainz's mistake caused the bigger crash. It's still up for debate, but I don't think his mistake ndio ili caused the bigger crash. But since Alonso wasn't inconvenienced in the race, because the race was restarted again, kulikuwa na another restart. I think that was the second red flag, sindio? That was the second red flag. Kulikuwa na another restart.
For the Sainz, it was the final one.
It was a third red flag. Sorry, and sorry to take you back. When you say the bigger crash, which crash are you referring to?
Kwa that same incident yenye Sainz yenye alikuwa involved in. Yeah.
Don't you think maybe it was a domino kind of thing?
Domino effect.
Now, if you rewatch it, somebody anazeka hapo kwa.
Yeah.
If you watch it. If you rewatch it, Sainz didn't have anything to do with
the Alpines.
The 2 Alpines, yeah. If you rewatch it,
yeah,
maybe nothing. But what I can say, the penalty he deserved because he touched Alonso. Now, going back to your argument, you are saying that the lap that didn't occur.
Yeah.
Let's say Nani retired, Alonso.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have changed your mind whether he deserved the penalty or not? Let's say his car had to be lifted.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, the laws of racing, or the laws as stated by FIA, are pretty straightforward. Yeah, nothing too complex about them, and it's written in the FIA law books, for a lap to stand or for a lap to be upheld, the driver or the lead driver must have completed at least the first sector, a third of the race, or 33% of the lap.
Sawa.
And from that situation, no driver had done either.
Yes. But I'm asking you, what if Alonso retired?
It doesn't matter. He didn't.
Let's say
the lap.
He wouldn't have a chance to restart.
The lap was voided. If the lap was voided, so should the penalty that occurred in the lap. You can't punish me for things that happened and you're not taking them into account.
I'm asking if Alonso retired.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Would you say bring Alonso another car?
Listen, that's like asking me the Alpines that crashed out, during that lap. Tuseme wangekuwa 8th and 9th.
And maybe they were running even P1, P2.
P1.
And somehow Sainz did and they crashed.
Yeah. Whatever happens. Kama hawako kwa race. Tuna ignore. Race in a restart without them being in it.
What do you think?
To be honest, I have no opinion. But in this circumstance, I think the 5-second penalty probably could have been changed, or maybe they could have given Carlos a penalty for the next race. Because if you give a driver a penalty and within the remaining time the driver cannot fight against that penalty, to me it didn't make sense, and it was harsh.
Nah,
And I'm saying this
harsh.
after I had Carlos almost crying
on the radio. Yeah.
Actually, when Mushiri shared that recording, I thought it was an Indian who recorded himself. No shade to Kapoor Singh.
Yeah, we call him Kapoor Singh over here. Our Kapoor Singh,
But yeah, in hindsight, I don't have much to say about it.
So for me, I would say he deserved the penalty, but how he served it, that's what should have changed. He should have been given an opportunity to fight or to recover from the penalty. Because, as I was saying earlier, if the race was not red flagged, the time it took for FIA to give the decision would have happened after Max crossed the finishing line. So if the penalty was to be given after Max crossed the finishing line, it would have applied on the next race. But the reason why there was enough time, because they were told to go back to the pits, and that's when the penalty was given.
Yeah.
So the penalty, I agree with the penalty. I don't agree with how it would have been served.
Okay then. Speaking of Melbourne, it was painful. Speaking of Melbourne, that's the most action-packed Melbourne race we've had, I think, for the past decade. Yeah. For the past decade, me honestly speaking, sijaona
Past decade.
sijaona race ya Melbourne imekuwa na drama hivyo.
Action packed in terms of red flags or what?
Yeah, action packed in terms of drama.
It holds a record for 3 red flags.
I don't think there's any other race. I think we'll discuss kwa space.
There's one more.
Would you
There's
say
a
red
Japanese
flags as action packed?
That's action, like the crashing.
crashing magnesium and carbon fiber
Bro,
all over the place.
nah, that's not the only thing that happened. I don't know if you remember the drivers waki escaped the gravel that was,
It
on
was
the
crazy.
tarmac and everything. The last 5
Mean
laps.
Charles.
I'm at the last 10 laps. Let me use the last 10 laps. The last 10 laps, that was box office.
Okay,
That was nothing short of box office.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe red flags as action packed.
What would
There
you
was a
describe
lot
them
of
as?
waiting. You were waiting.
Nah,
When is
come on,
restarting?
bro.
When are we restarting? You are there waiting.
Any
I would
incident,
consider that as action.
that causes a red flag is an action incident. That's a Hollywood incident. Anything that causes a red flag is, I don't know, but I term it as a Hollywood incident. I'd call it that because
How would you define action
Action.
on track? Okay, on a race. On a race.
Overtakes, defending. So apart from the red flags,
listen.
the race
Listen.
itself,
These-
leave the incidents.
Yeah.
Melbourne was still action packed. As a Red Bull guy, Checo did his thing. And actually, speaking about Checo, in the previous episode, sijui it was a dare ama sijui ni uchawi ya tifosi. Let's Checo start from the back and
From
let's
the back
see,
of the
let's see
grid, and
where-
let's see if he truly is the king of the street circuits. That's what I said. And you saw what happened. So
Yeah, but for me,
I know my stuff, man.
It's action packed. Race is not just about the red flag.
that can be for you only. That's basically for every racing fan. What Mushiri is failing to comprehend here is action isn't really relative. It's an opinion-based thing. Cars crashing out, that's action, bro. That's action. F1 and the guys at Formula 1 Entertainment will actually put that to try and lure fans in. So that's action. You can't really dismiss it as not being action.
Okay.
It really
I think
is
it's
action.
a personal opinion then.
Anyway, that brings us straight to who was your driver of the day? Melbourne.
Who me? Lando Norris, man.
Lando Norris.
Yeah, Lando was my driver for the day.
Okay, why?
He had a really good race fighting Hülkenberg. And he actually managed to keep Checo, who had a faster car, behind. And when Checo passed him, I can't remember the exact lap, but when Checo passed him, Lando hung on to Checo to make a move on Hülkenberg later in the race.
Yeah.
To me, that was a really good race.
That was elite racecraft from Lando. No wins. That was elite racecraft. Your driver of the day? Buda ukumbuki race umekuja podcast na ukumbuki race
Okay, for me, until me, I'll judge the driver of the day until not the ignoring the last lap. Because
fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
for me, I would say Hülkenberg. If I ignore what
What
Sainz
happened?
did.
What Sainz did?
Because
do you mean what Sainz did?
He's the one who caused the red flag. If there was no that red flag in the Nini.
Okay, listen. If Sainz does what he does, and the Alpines don't crash out, there is no red flag.
Yes.
So what do you mean what Sainz did?
I'm judging. You asked me about the driver of the day.
Yeah, driver of the day.
And for me to choose Hulk, I'm ignoring what happened.
Okay, so your driver of the day is Hulk.
Yes.
Okay, Nico, it is.
What about you?
I'm going to be biased on this one. I'm going to give it to Carlos Sainz because he fought his way up the field.
Yeah, he did.
He fought his way up the field, man. And the race was, buda kuona hiyo race ilikuwa tu inauma because from the opening laps when Charles DNF'd, I still feel the pain. Adisai.
And also Carlos got shafted by the first red flag. Remember he
Yeah.
Oh, he was among the first.
He was among, yeah. Now, seeing the way he fought for his position or his grid position rather, I'd have to give it to him because he was battling very fast cars hapo mbele. The Mercedes looked fast. Those Mercedes guys, sijui walikuwa wamepewa nini hiyo siku. Na for some reason, a lot of Mercedes fans aren't really, nasema wale Mercedes fans, the core fan base, they aren't really optimistic from their Melbourne showing. I don't know why. But tutaongelea hiyo hapo mbele.
Wait, I think the other reason I choose
Kapur Singh.
Kapur Singh is because of his radio cries.
Wewe, please. Why are you still poking this thing?
No. Let me come talk to them after the race. No.
Why are you? Man, come on. I mean, like, yo.
That was painful.
Yeah, that was painful to hear for any Tifosi. Forever etched in our hearts. Hiyo hatutasahau. FIA, Domenicali, Stefano. Hiyo hatutasahau.
Considering this was the one opportunity that
he had to actually prove.
Yeah, that he's better than
Yeah, he's not. But yeah, to prove.
and it was a time when the strategy, since he was the only Ferrari car, would actually look and try to favor him. That like.
Man.
For the
if you were to for me and we have discussed.
I mean,
before,
listen,
I put
Lord Percival crashing out in the early laps of the race.
Lap 1.
Laps. Wacha tuseme laps ndio ikae tulienda mahali. Wewe
lap 1. Lap 1 Charles out.
Was it turn 1 or turn 3?
No, turn 1 to 3.
It was going into the fourth turn. Ilikuwa turn 3 tena wanakuja kwa straight,
and that was clumsy from Charles.
Yeah, it's a rare mistake from Lord Percival himself, but kwanza watu walitudanganya. Unakumbuka during the Ferrari car unveiling venye walikuwa kisema, yeah, we look fast, I can't wait to take this thing on track. Charles Leclerc.
I was sold.
But then I was like, wow, okay.
Kwanza the way they were fighting for the car, yeye na Sainz, nakumbuka akisema one more lap mate, na Carlos was like no, box, it's my turn. And I was like, yeah, this year is a year. So
but that unveiling was spectacular. Tifosi, the Tifosi guys, those guys are infectious with their energy.
Yeah, take my money. Nimelipa subscription ya mwaka mzima hapo Ferrari TV. Anyway, team of the day,
McLaren. Remember before Melbourne they had 0 points.
The guys who finished, the guys who got points because the other guys crashed out.
Hey, regardless, man.
No, they McLaren was still in it. Even
come on, bro. If the Alpines don't crash out, McLaren aren't taking points home.
No,
wait. I'm telling you.
Lando,
but points. I said points. Points is in plural. Lando angechukua point moja, 10th.
No.
Alikuwa 9th. Alikuwa 10th.
Before
the Alpines crashed out.
You're saying me and say Kapur Singh? Okay.
Yeah. achana Kapur Singh bana. Ni nini watu wa Red Bull na kufinyilia hiyo donda?
Ni uchungu ya Carlos bado ndo uko tunarudi kuongea juu ya Carlos.
Ndio ananirudisha huko.
The incident of the Alpines is the same one ya Carlos causing the red flag. It's the same thing. You are giving it a different name,
bro. Sawa.
Hey, McLaren team of the day. They jumped from last to 5th. Just in one race.
Because of DNFs.
And you have to give props to both of the drivers, Lando and Oscar. They had good races.
Yeah.
None of them dropped the ball or fumbled. And this was actually Oscar's first race. Mm-hmm. And there's this funny stat going on that every Australian driver who's raced in Formula 1, they score their first points at home.
That's an interesting one. There's also another interesting one.
I remember, because I'm a Ricardo fan, I remember for Ricardo, when he came, he was P3, he qualified P3, and then he was demoted. He received a penalty. There was something about fuel flow rate or something. Mm-hmm. So that thing you're saying about Australian, and it was the first race when he went to Red Bull, although he was in Toro Rosso, but first race in Red Bull, he did really well, yeah.
Webber, Ricardo, and Piastri.
And Piastri. The only Australians we know of right now. Yeah? Okay, your team of the day?
I'll say McLaren.
McLaren, yeah? My team of the day was actually Mercedes. The Mercedes is improved quite a lot. They had a double podium finish. Come on, man.
Double? Nani retired?
Maybe Quali.
No. Who won the race? Ilko Max?
Yeah, Max.
P3 was Hamilton.
Hamilton was P3. Oh, he finished in the podium. Oh, Russell. Na ile gari yake ya Fast and Furious. Ile yenye ilikuwa inatoa moto hapo nyuma.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, god damn. Na confusing na the
but they had a really good quali.
Yeah, they really had fast cars.
They could have finished P3 and P4.
Yeah, they could have finished P3 and P4. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a time Russell led the race. Before I took a race, I think he was leading.
Yeah.
He was leading. So,
after pits.
Saying Mercedes, minus the KDNF, for me, Mercedes looked fast. I'm not a Mercedes guy, but I have to keep it a band. I have to keep it a stack. Mercedes looked fast, and I'm giving them my team of the day. Because looking fast means you actually went behind closed doors, you tried to figure out what the issue was, and you problem solved it.
No.
They solved that problem.
They had no idea why they were fast.
Track specific. it was the track.
Even Toto said they had no idea why they
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They didn't introduce any upgrades.
Yes.
Hakuna any upgrades.
So what are you saying?
Now,
Mercedes is a faster on slow tracks.
No.
Because
The
Melbourne is
W13
also a slow track.
The W13 and the 14,
Yeah.
they have this advantage over the other cars got the grid. They are really good at firing up the front tires. That's why quali, you could see other cars had to do multiple warm-up laps before they could actually put in a hot lap or a fast lap.
Okay.
But the Mercedes, as in they came up swinging they came out swinging. Q1, Q2, Q3. And I wasn't surprised to see in Q3, George and Ham were able to qualify P2 and P3. I wasn't.
Question for you.
I wasn't shocked. But in the race, quali pace and race pace,
two different things. Yeah. Question for you. Do you think the new qualification formats that are being introduced by the FIA
we are in Baku.
Zita,
are we in Baku?
Si tunaingia Baku tu sahi. Yeah. Do you think the new race formats za qualifying for the race na vitu kaa hizo, the new qualification formats, do you think Mercedes will actually benefit from them?
Okay,
because like you
said,
said,
let's mention how the format for Baku is. And first of all, it's for weekends with sprint races.
Yeah. Take it away.
So on Friday, practice 1 and quali for the race.
Quali for the race on a Friday. Yeah.
Yes.
On Friday.
On Saturday, we have... What do we have for Saturday?
Practice 2.
Quali.
And sprint.
We on Saturday we have quali for the sprint.
Quali for the sprint. Now
Quali
they're
for the
not
sprint.
calling it quali, they're calling it
Sprint
shootout.
Sprint shootout, yeah.
Shootout. And then later, the sprint race.
Monetizing the sport.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
And
It's
on
more
Sunday,
entertainment.
so qualifying for sprint ndio.
Run it back again.
Okay.
Friday,
Friday practice 1,
FP1.
quali for the race on Sunday,
quali race.
which to determine how the race,
That is
the
Friday.
grid, how the grid will be on
yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Saturday we have
Shootout.
which is quali for the sprint,
Mm-hmm.
which will determine how the sprint race, the grid
The
for
grid. Yeah.
for the sprint race,
Okay.
and then on Sunday is the normal race.
Grand Prix.
Yes.
So just to summarize it, FP1 on Friday and race qualification on Friday. Saturday is a sprint day, entirely sprint, dedicated to sprints.
Yes.
So they'll have their practice for the sprints, which they're calling the shootout.
Yep.
Then the sprint race, which will have its own points. And the sprint race, unlike the other seasons, won't determine your grid position on race day, come race day. Then on Sunday, remember the quali on Friday? That's the one that determines your grid position on Sunday. So on Sunday, we'll have that race. That's an interesting format.
Okay, first of all, I don't see the point of having 2 quali sessions.
Nah, it's a fair one. Because
I would rather quali already has Q1, Q2, Q3, isn't it?
yeah,
Why, if you wanted different lineup, say why don't you say Q2 is for sprint? How mtajipanga after Q2 iwe for sprint, and how itajipanga for Q3 iwe for race?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Why have to?
I like that.
Why have to?
let me just apply the job for you, let me just apply it for you. Unajua watu ni kama wajui kazi yao, wacha tu kuapply because that's a very interesting one.
You didn't talk about tires.
Oh, now that's
The tires.
Okay. So for I think for qualification for the race remains the same.
Let me read it out.
Huh?
Let me just read it out.
Yeah, okay.
The tires.
SQ is shootout qualification.
So the tires. Okay. The tires. For the sprint weekend in Baku, the dry allocation will be 2 times hard, 4 times medium, and 6 times soft. Tire returns will be limited to only after P1 and the sprint. There will be a limit of 1 set of mandatory specification unused dry tires for each sprint shootout period. Hence, SQ1, medium, SQ2, medium, SQ3, soft. Penalties will be applied as follows. A grid penalty incurred in P1 or qualifying.
P1 is practice 1.
Yeah. A grid penalty will be incurred in P1 or qualifying will apply to the race. So penalties will go to the race, yeah? A grid penalty incurred in the shootout will apply in the sprint. A grid penalty incurred in the sprint will apply in the race.
Yes.
That's an unfair one. But okay.
That's the way. After sprint race, the next thing is race.
Yeah. A breach of park farm will result in the pit lane start for the sprint and race. Power unit penalties will only apply to the race unless they are also a park farm breach.
So
park farm.
If there's
a new term, park farm.
Park farming.
Park farming.
You have to put some je ne sais quoi.
It's French.
So wait, hold up. So you said one mandatory tire.
Yeah. For each.
So
for each.
For SQ1.
Only 1 set.
Yeah.
God damn.
SQ1.
I don't know how.
So
you
SQ1 hard.
If you
SQ2
lock
hard.
the tires, you're out.
SQ3 softs. Nivo, man. That's
Mediums, soft.
Yeah, medium softs, not hard. Medium softs. That's an interesting one. I don't know what these guys who backroom stuff wanafikiria, but maybe it will make the race more interesting. At least I think it will.
Well, for entertainment, yeah.
Yeah. At least
it will be more interesting.
At least I think it will. Which takes us directly to this career fact yenye nilikuwa nataka kusema before we drifted the conversation away. From the opening races, only two drivers have actually gained positions from where they started the race. Only 2 drivers. Yeah. Can you guess who they are?
My mind was somewhere else.
So it's only 2 drivers who have gained position.
Yeah.
From where they started on the grid and where they finished.
Yeah.
Yuki and Hamilton.
Yeah, and Lewis Hamilton.
Wait, what?
Champ, you good? mtu atushughulikie na kamaji hapo. Champ is not feeling really good right now.
Wait, when you say 2 drivers have only done
have actually gained grid positions
from
how they qualified
and where they
how they finished.
Starting on the grid, not just qualifying and
that's an interesting one.
And where you start on the grid, it can be different.
Yeah.
You can qualify P1 and start.
Penalties
and shit. Yeah.
Hey, that's interesting.
Guys who have actually.
That's why Yuki. Have you
had an improvement during the race
for Alpha Tauri? When we even talked about it on the space, whereby we were saying Yuki amejaribu sana hii season, and it's coming from he watching Alonso defending, basically racecraft.
Alikuwa anaangalia gari Alonso for most of the race.
Is honing in on his racecraft. He might not qualify well, but he's going to the race knowing he's going to improve from where Ali started.
I actually think it's more of Yuki settling. Remember, this is a guy who came into the sport, new culture, new atmosphere. He was still, the nerves are still everywhere. He was crashing every now and then, making rookie mistakes. But now he's second year in, right? Third year in. I think he's now comfortable in the sport. He's now comfortable on the grid. It takes time, takes experience. He's garnered it, he's gained it, and now he can actually show his true potential because, he's a good driver. I really think he's a good driver. I actually think any driver who makes it into Formula 1 is a good driver. So I'll cut him some slack going forward, and I expect him to prove us.
He was left by his best friend, his buddy.
Is it a girl?
Yeah, Gasly.
Unajua amesema ameachwa. Unajua sisi tunaelewa kuachwa ni kuachwa. Anyway, kuachwa ni tofauti. Which takes us directly to the preview for the next race, Baku, another street circuit, and a slow one at that. 2/3 of Baku is actually slow, and this will be interesting. Because watu wa Red Bull wamezoea mbio. Hakuna cha, let me tell you. There's no telling me something. Listen. Watu wa Red Bull wamezoea mbio.
It's guaranteed. The slipstream, the DRS, and we agreed that
let me tell you the ones to look out for.
Front of Red Bull.
The ones to look out for. This is a slow sprint race. Not a slow sprint race. This is a slow street circuit. Yeah? And the guys you should look out for are the guys with cornering,
No. It's only 90 degrees.
Yeah.
90 degrees.
It's only sector 2. Sector 2 where
Sector 1 and Sector 2.
Bits. No.
Okay.
Sector 1.
Sector 1 it's the right left turn.
Yeah.
Then there's another left turn, and then there's a straight.
Okay, so sijui kama the camera guy ataona hii kitu. Nataka nimzoomie.
It will be put here.
This is the track. That is the circuit. Ndio hiyo hapo. Kwa wale hawaoni, hii ndio sector 3, hii line refu. That is sector 3. Yeah, kwa wale hawaoni. Hiyo ndio sector 3. Sijui ni wachore kwa board.
Let me just debunk it. Listen, iko hivi if you remember Jeddah.
Yeah.
There was no car ilikuwa ina car mbele ya Red Bull.
There is no car ilikuwa ina car
staying in front of a Red Bull. Because when you get to DRS zone Alonso in Jeddah, Alonso was ahead of Checo, but only for a matter of time.
Yeah.
If it was in Monaco, if that start was in Monaco, Alonso going ahead of Checo, there's a chance angehold Checo behind for quite a period. Maybe I'm jump on the nini. But since there was these long straights with effective DRS, and also we know Red Bull is fast on the straight even without DRS. Tampita. So for Baku, I can assure you, unless Red Bull DNFs, there's no car that is going to finish in front of a Red Bull.
The only place where Aston and Mercedes and I think also Ferrari might mount a challenge in sector 2 because they fiddly beats. But sector 3, that's a long ass straight.
Yeah.
Sector 1, it doesn't have such a long straight, but it has 2 straights.
Do you think a Ferrari can overtake a Red Bull on that straight?
bro.
It can never
Okay.
happen.
Okay, listen. Let me tell you the aspects that will be put into test for this upcoming race, the Baku inaitwa the Baku street circuit ama kitu kaa hiyo. The roll and the yaw of the car. Basically, I'll explain it in terms what the yaw ndio ina affecting understeer na oversteer, where the car slides during cornering na vitu kaa hizo. This is the car, yeah? 3 axes, the Y, the X, and this axis. You get? The Y, the X, and this axis. You get? So what the yaw is, you get?
Hakuna high speed corner. This corner
Tena the road
90 degrees.
ndio najaribu kusema hakuna high speed corners, ni low speed corners. So hizi ndio vitu zita affect the race, yeah? Na the roll, these aspects ndio rolling of the car during the zinaitwaje, the curbs, when they hit curbs na the chicanes. So I'm trying to say this is a circuit which the more aero efficient cars will actually benefit from. Na ndio nilikuwa niongele the Red Bull suspension. The Red Bull suspension is actually helping them out a lot. Na we might actually see it,
Let's say
we might actually see it be the main difference between Red Bull and the other cars, and that's what I'm trying to see. Ndio kitu actually I'm trying to see, because we've talked about the flaws and everything na kila kitu, yeah? But with this thing, the one I'm talking about being involved, I'm trying to see cars like Aston Martin, Mercedes, and the Red Bull. I don't know, I'm not putting a Ferrari in there, but yeah, the Mercedes, the Aston Martin, and the Red Bull are the cars I'm really looking out for. Those are the cars to watch.
Okay, let's say at a Red Bull it starts from the pits, and it's only fast on the straights. Okay, so the only thing it needs to do is to try to keep up on those. There are not even many. If you look at the track, there are like 2 major straight.
Yeah.
There are 2 major straight. Yeah. So if it keeps up with the car that is in front, if you go straight in overtake, pulls a gap on the next straight, meets the second car, keep up, the other straight overtakes, or even if it doesn't overtake, it'll close the gap, overtake on the next straight.
But you do know, listen, you do know, okay, yeah, I mean the Red Bull is that car, it's like that. You do know though, kwa pit lane kuna kwanga na speed limit. So your analogy is all but, you know,
even if you overtake on the nini, unajua the gap, let's say there's a gap of 5 seconds. If you give you a gap of 5 seconds,
yeah,
and uko nyuma yangu upit,
yeah,
if I'm ahead, I'll just maybe mirror and I'll still come out in front, because you can't close the 5 second in the pit. You have to close it on the track. So pit overtaking on the pit will only apply if there's a considerable amount of laps in between the pits, like going for long. Maybe you have different tires, and the time I pit, you are pitting like 10 laps later, maybe then. But if you are pitting we are around the same pit window, it will make any difference.
Okay, that's interesting, but I don't think the Red Bull is fast enough to pull off what you're saying. I don't think it is. It could be.
I guess we'll see.
It could be, but I don't think it is. And if it is, then they've been sandbagging the whole season.
Who?
Red Bull.
Red Bull have been sandbagging.
If they are fast enough to pull off what you just said, what you've demonstrated, if they can be fast enough, listen. If they can be fast enough to pull off what you just said, yeah, then I guarantee you, Red Bull have been sandbagging.
No,
but that's just hypothesis. That's just hypothesis.
Jeddah Max started P15, and he finished. Okay, if you ignore Checo, like the gap he put between second and Nini was big.
No, but that's during a race, and that's a different situation, because Jeddah is a fast street circuit. That is a very, very, very fast circuit. In fact, the fastest, if I'm not wrong. That's the fastest street circuit. In fact, the fastest circuit for Milan right now. It's the fastest. So
Monza.
Yeah, Monza. Oh, the Temple of Speed. The Temple of Speed, yeah. It's the fastest bar Monza.
Okay, what do you guys think
So,
about Checo? Performance in Nini? Because he has won in Baku in which team was he? The Alpine, no, the pink car.
The Racing Point.
Yeah.
Racing Point, yeah.
He has won in Baku in that, and he has finished on the podium. Bado in Baku.
Buda,
Checo will have a good weekend.
Kubahatisha.
If he doesn't do the same shit yenye alifanya Australia.
Okay, for me, I think if there's a track whereby Checo can go toe to toe with Max, like beat Max on merit, is Baku. That's what I think.
Also another driver who's really excelled at Baku ni Gasly.
Yeah.
So loves, for some reason in AlphaTauri he's loved this track.
Now he's in an Alpine.
Yeah, he's in a
Can you
faster
imagine
car.
what she'll do? Because Alpines are just to put it out there, Alpines are faster than the Alphas.
Hey,
So he's getting
that's night and
he's
day.
getting
I actually was waiting.
Sikuwa na compare, nilikuwa nasema
Alpine will fight Mercedes.
wakona faster car. So Gasly is getting a faster car in one of his favorite circuits. So that will be one to watch out for. Yeah, Gasly. Nilisikia watu wakislanda Gasly mahali, but Gasly, I respect the guy. I mean, yeah, he works hard. He works on his craft.
Alpine and Ocon.
Gasly and Ocon.
Yeah. Who do you pick?
I mean, Ocon is established. I mean, you can't take away. This guy won. Ni race gani hiyo alishinda last season?
Even Gasly has won a race.
Was it Hungary?
Yeah, it wasn't Hungary. It wasn't Hungary.
Trained and
The one Ferrari fucked up the strategy again.
Even Gasly has
wait,
won
we're
a
talking
race.
about Ocon, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Ocon.
Yeah.
Hungary. Alishinda Hungary. I doubt it was Hungary.
2021.
Yeah, see.
Oh,
where he was
21, not
being-
last
where
year.
he was
Ilikuwa
being
21,
defended
yeah.
by Alonso, when-
Ilikuwa yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a guy who has some wins under his belt, unlike Lando, and I mean Gasly pia kona some wins.
Monza.
One win. But me, I don't
places
like
to win.
Ocon, but I'll pick Ocon as
Why?
Listen.
Ocon. I usually see Ocon as a person who will
Fun fact:
go for
both
that
are
gap.
French, and the car is French,
Yeah,
so it's an all French affair.
but the team radio isn't French.
It's an all French affair. Give them that.
Yeah, but the team radio they should
They should speak French. Nah, come on, for
make it
the
a
audience.
complete French affair.
No,
Or
maybe the guy talking is French, but he's speaking English. I should look that up. The team radio guy from Alpine is French or English.
check later.
Mushiri, why Ocon?
Ocon is the guy who will put that car on the gap. You know the way Senna says. If Ocon took out Max,
You're trying to say Ocon is a braver driver than Gasly?
yes.
Nah,
He-
man.
he's-
Nah, come on, bro.
Okay,
no,
let's wait for the end of the
no,
season.
no.
Between Ocon and Gasly,
Nah,
we'll have more points.
No, bro. No. Okay, yeah, that's one way to judge it. But no, what you said, no. I've seen Gasly pull off some moves that were, daring. Especially the time his short stint at Red Bull. He did pull off some daring moves. And I haven't seen Ocon pull off some daring moves yet. I've just seen him be regular, be solid on the track. But I haven't seen him pull off some daring moves. I've seen Gasly pull off some daring moves, but I haven't seen Ocon pull off some daring moves. Unless there's one I'm missing. There's one obvious one I'm missing.
Speaking of the duo after the Melbourne crash, do you think they're
Team orders.
No. Do you think they're happy?
The team or the drivers?
The drivers.
Are you sensing trouble
No.
in paradise?
No, I think it doesn't change. I think for drivers, it doesn't matter whether they crash with a teammate or with another person.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same.
I think Gasly came off worse because Gasly had a really good race compared to Ocon. And I think he was chasing P5 because remember he was battling Carlos before. And just one lap being taken out by your teammates.
Bro,
That's
I'd be throwing hands, my guy. I'm not even lying. one lap tena you mess up my race.
And you know both of them they have history.
And they have a history.
Something to do. Someone took someone's girlfriend.
Oh yeah, there is
Old wounds,
bro.
Settling it on track.
Bro.
What a way.
Bro, that's interesting. Which takes us to the hot takes. A lot has been happening behind the scenes over the past few weeks. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but kumekuwa na Mercedes reshuffle. You've seen the Mercedes reshuffle? Talk to us about it real quick.
Well, I don't know the nitty-gritties, but they brought they brought their previous aero genius, technical genius. Is it Michael Yotamani something Williams?
Yeah.
I've forgotten his name, but he's the guy who's replacing.
Clearly, you're not part of the cult, eh?
Allison. Yeah, it's Allison.
Yeah.
I don't know why people give that guy a lot of. He was with Vettel in Ferrari.
Okay, so
with
basically,
no results.
what Mercedes did, yeah, for 2022. This is the technical director, and this is the wanaitwaje? This is the technical director. This is the technical director guy, and this is the car guy. Yeah. So for 2022, huyu alikuja hapa na huyu akakuja hapa. Then the car 2022 ilikuwa fucked up. Na 2023 pia iko fucked up. So what they decided to do was, okay, you guys check it. It's not working. Go back to your position, and you come back to your position. And with that, some Mercedes fans online wameanza kuona like miracles will start happening. And all I can tell them is, hold on to your horses. The earliest you'll see these results in maybe 2024. I'm being optimistic for you. I'm not like him. I'm being optimistic for you. The earliest utaona ni 2024.
I think everybody we know at Mercedes will have to go.
Yeah, speaking of going,
the drivers and
kuna the Ferrari driver rumor ya Charles Leclerc imesemekana. It's obvious, everybody at the paddock knows he's been talking to Mercedes, which brings us to the issue of the driver unrest at Ferrari, where Pierre Sainz alikuanga, alikuwa naongelelewa about him leaving. Na me being a tifosi, knowing that one of the drivers will leave, brings us to that thing about Hamilton. Najua atatoka Mercedes at some point. He might go to Ferrari, but that's a topic for another day. Go watch episode 1 if you haven't. Niliongeleo stuff up in depth. But what do you think? Yeah. Has Charles had it? Has Lord Percival had enough?
Nah, not yet. I still refer to the game of musical chairs. I don't think Hamilton will leave Mercedes for Ferrari. He'll probably retire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if there's anyone who's supposed to get on that seat at Mercedes, it could either be Charles, it could be Lando, because also Lando probably is eyeing that cassette.
So Charles back to Charles to McLaren? No, I don't think so. I can't see it.
Hey, who knows?
I can't see it happening.
It's also not a given that Charles will go to Mercedes. It's not a given.
Your take?
Okay, Ferrari are not winning any championship soon.
Bruh.
With Hamilton, those. You watched that Nini? Yeah? That Mark saying more ways of Ferrari to fuck up their strategy.
Mimi sasa nitaamuka sasa niende ati what?
Ferrari are not winning any time. The only way Ferrari can win is when they start, and I'll quote Jeremy, when they start making off-road cars, when they start using the money from the cars to make a Formula 1 car.
That's how they've been doing it. What do you mean when they start? That's how they've been doing it.
No, right now they are making very good road cars.
Nah, it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. This is the saying you're trying to say, yeah? It's been known when Ferrari are good on track, they have terrible road cars. And when they have good road cars, they have terrible F1 cars or track cars. That's what you're trying to say. But it doesn't mean shit. Sorry to say. It doesn't mean shit. All it's just saying, it's like it's like a theory it's supporting, but nothing really goes on into it.
Yeah,
Ferrari will still take the money from sales to develop their car. That's how they make the money. They are a racing company.
But they're making good cars. It means they're keeping a lot of money.
It's speculation, bro. Come on. Okay, that's speculation. As we wind up, kuna kale kamwisho, the Taylor Swift and and Alonso, Lord Fernando Alonso, Darth Vader himself. Haizi kosa ka story mahali hapo kwa segment yetu. Darth Vader himself inaonekana ametembelea Taylor Swift na they have a thing going on. What do you make of it? Rumors in the paddock?
But you have to wait for Miami to see.
Tuone kama kutakuwa na story hapo. It was actually reported Taylor Swift song ilikuwa inaitwaje hii ngoma? Mnajua mimi sijui hizi mangoma. Style by Taylor Swift. Nilikuwa nimeona msikilize hiyo style tena. It is actually rumored that style was written for Fernando Alonso. Na I won't lie, nilienda kusikiliza tena just to confirm. Na
is it a recent song?
It's not recent but iko hiyo period ya 2017 18 19 siko sure lini, but it's rumored aliandikia Alonso na listening to it and the words zenye alikuwa anaongea I can't really na mnajua
can those words apply to any F1 driver?
No, Alonso long hair, maybe Hamilton lakini Alonso. Yeah, so anyway, that's it. That's it from us on episode 3.
Yep,
that's a wrap. What do you expect in Baku? Predictions.
Double podium for Red Bull. And you know Red Bull, we are chasing a triple 1-2 finish. We've never had a triple 1-2 finish.
Max Grand Slam, do you expect it?
Winning those qualies, P1 in qualies and in sprint and in
yeah.
That will be hard for anybody.
No, it happens.
The odds mekua.
I think for the sprinters, Max will play safe.
That is a safe.
Because he's gone on record saying he doesn't enjoy this getting modified weekends. So he's salty about the sprint race. But come race day Sunday, I'm expecting a Red Bull 1-2.
Okay, Red Bull 1-2. You?
1-2 even for sprint.
1-2 for sprint
and for race.
Okay, that's interesting. What
about you?
Mimi I see a red car pale mbele. Sikudanganyi. I won't lie. I see a red car. A red car inaweza kuwa Alfa Romeo. Stop laughing, man. I see a red car. Probably Charles will try and recover from, his mishappenings in Melbourne. I see Mercedes is going back to where they belong. Naongelea P5, P6. So really optimistic about that. And basically that's it. A sprint. Alonso might get away with this one. The sprint race. I do see Alonso targeting it. Yeah. Like if Alonso wants something, I do see him trying to get something.
But you have 17 laps
of
defending against Red Bull.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
if he gets a good qualification from the sprint race and he ends up ahead of the pile, I do see him standing a chance.
Winning the sprint race?
Yeah, winning the sprint race.
I don't think so. We're talking about 17 laps.
Yeah, 17 laps. He can defend. Yeah,
how many laps did he defend Checo in Jeddah?
Okay, hazikuwa mingi. I think zilikuwa 5 laps.
That's the maximum I'm giving him.
Okay, look, I'm not writing him off. I expect him to do something during the sprint race. If he is the Alonso I know, I expect him to gun for something during the sprint
Alonso
race.
might win in Monaco. That's the only place I can give him.
Hakuna space ya overtake. Okay, that's it from me and my fellow members, and catch you on the next one. Stay tuned. Peace.